Maybe you're upset that you can't run with your kids, or you can't like kick a soccer ball, or you can't play, I don't know, pick up football on the weekends. Okay. That's not just football or soccer. That's not just running with your kids. That's your mental health. That's your way of coping. So
Yeah.
just giving that back to people and like allowing them to move, I think is really rewarding.
Welcome, Maya Zemtsova,
That's perfect.
to the Young Athletic. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm always excited to talk to fellow business owners, small business owners, and
Oh yeah.
hear their experience. And obviously, you're an athlete yourself, and you do PT work. So excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me. As a small business owner, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's just I just wish I had gone to business school or something like that. But oh well.
I love what I do, but I think business school would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah. I have a friend who just got his MBA,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like kind of curious. Like, does your stuff work? Like, do you know what you're talking about?
Honestly, I had an ex once that went to business school, and I would look over his shoulder at the stuff that they were talking about, and it was like another language to me. But it's useful to know in this day and age.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you have to market, you have to,
For sure.
balance your budget, you have to do everything.
Yep. I was talking with my coach, and he was talking about variable and fixed interest, and I was like,
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start from the beginning. I know you ran track and field
Mm-hmm.
a long time ago.
Quite a while ago, but I do still run.
Oh yeah, you still run?
I just signed up for the Ventura half.
Oh yeah,
in
when is
February.
that? February.
Mm-hmm. It's coming up.
Nice.
A little time to prep.
Have you been running like lately? You feel good about it?
My long run's probably like 5 miles right now, so I have to.
Yeah.
I have to work up to a half distance again, but I've been running consistently, so it won't be too hard.
Where do you like to run?
By the beach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're in Ventura. You got to make use of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than I like to go to what is it? Silmar? No, what's it called? I forget what it's called. The stretch between Ventura and Santa Barbara.
Yeah, that's super pretty.
And run there. It's like the perfect sand for it.
So see, I run like right off of the sand. I run on the boardwalk area. Honestly, I tell people to run on the sand when they have issues with their legs, like shin splints. But I find it too difficult to get any real mileage on the sand.
Yeah. Yeah, you need the right sand for it.
For sure. Like a packed sand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why the Ventura Marathon as opposed to the Santa Barbara or the Mountain to Beach or?
It's a gently downhill slope.
Yeah.
So it's a speedy half.
Nice.
And I won't lie, the Santa Barbara half is pricey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was not ready to run early November. I thought that was too little of a time for me to prep.
Yeah. No, you gotta get the miles in.
You gotta get the miles in. I didn't want to get injured, especially for my work. If I get injured, I'm KO'd. Cannot work.
What did you run when you ran track? What event?
So I was a jumper. I did long, triple, high jump, pole vault, every single jump.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It really beat up my body.
Did you enjoy those things?
I love track.
Yeah.
I love track. But now if someone was like, can you triple jump into the sand? I would probably say no.
I also did the triple jump in high school.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Do you remember how far you would jump?
Like something low 40s.
Okay.
I don't remember.
That's decent.
Yeah. I did the 800.
Yeah.
That's what I was successful in.
The mid distances are the most difficult.
It crushes you, but it's awesome.
It crushes you. And before I jumped, I used to be a sprinter. And then you see the distance guys doing the sprinting workouts and not even batting an eye. They're not even breathing hard.
Yeah.
And that's how you know the distance guys are where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 15 seconds, of training, and they do it a couple of times.
The sprinters are fighting for milliseconds of a time, like 10.1 versus 10.3.
Yeah.
All the distance guys are just doing it and not even breathing hard.
Yeah.
But
I love those times. I love being in that kind of shape to run.
For sure. Do you run now?
I've been getting back into it.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I ran 4 on Monday and 2.5 yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think people just ramp up too fast and too hard,
Yeah.
and then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, look at the sky, look at the ocean, how nice it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people wanna get in shape, and
Mhm.
sometimes they do too much too soon.
That's very common. And then I see those people for work. But I do miss track. I miss that like camaraderie and the track meet days where you're just out on the field
Mhm.
waiting,
Waiting your turn.
waiting.
Yeah.
Although when you're doing 4 jumping events, half the time I would be running across the field, like take a triple jump, run across the field, take a
Mhm.
high jump, run back across the field for your next set of jumps.
Which one was your favorite or maybe most successful?
Long and triple.
Yeah.
Pole vault was just like a wild card. We were privileged enough that our high school had a pole vaulting pit, and I grew up in New Jersey, and not every high school had that
Hmm.
because it's pretty pricey. But we didn't have a coach.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't have a pole vaulting coach. It was just the jumping coach that took over, trying to teach pole vault, which I think from YouTube, he was pulling up YouTube. He was like, "Here's a drill. Try this." I used to do gymnastics, so here's this long stick. Just like vault yourself over. Just get yourself over. Don't hurt
Try
your.
it.
Just don't hurt yourself. But like, just make it over the. I think the first height that you had to clear was 11 feet, and
That's pretty high.
you weren't even like picking your butt up. You were just had to like hold the stick and like just get over.
Yeah.
I did it.
It's awesome.
Didn't do it for a very long time. We got some real gymnasts that like were actually good at it.
Did they ask you to do any hurdles?
I did hurdle in middle school and I was pretty damn good at it. And that's also how I broke my finger. And then I no longer hurdled.
Hurdling?
Yeah, I missed the hurdle. My foot caught, and instead of the hurdle going down, I went down with it,
Yeah.
and I landed on my finger, and my finger was like back here. And so I took it and I fixed it, and I just didn't think twice about it until 6 weeks later, it was still black and blue.
Oh, yeah.
By then, it was too late. We went to the doctor, and they're like, "No, it's already healed. Do you want me to re-break it?" And I was like, don't dare, don't touch me.
So,
Don't re-break it. I don't need my pinky.
yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah. But again, if you're doing all the jumps, you don't want to add hurdles to it. It's too much.
That's a lot of hurdling.
It's just a lot of
jumping.
jumping. Hmm.
I saw on your website that you also helped with the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool thing that Boston University does, which is where I went to for school. And every year we volunteer with the Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
And the 2 years that I did it, I was wheelchair sweep. So like right at the finish line, you're getting everyone that's collapsing, you throw them in a wheelchair and you take them to the medical tent.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had one like really nice sunny year and then one year that was just miserable. It was freezing cold,
Yeah.
raining the whole time.
Is that the year it was like a outlier won the men's event?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So we saw a lot of people for hypothermia. And I just remember texting like all my friends being like, please bring me a sweater. Like just bring me something because I'm freezing.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But
What years were you there in Boston for the marathon?
oh gosh, you're making me think back. I graduated in 2018 and I was in school for 6 years. So
Oh,
probably, I know it's a long time. And that was an accelerated degree.
6
That's
years?
bachelor's right
Okay,
into
so
a
4 years
doctor of
plus
physical therapy.
okay,
So
4
it's
plus 2.
usually 4, then you apply for PT school and it's 3. I applied for that together for senior year of high school. So
Wow.
I already knew I wanted to do it, and you had to get in, like you couldn't switch into that program. You had to start that program
Interesting.
freshman year. So there were like 20 of us that finished. I think we started with a lot more, like 60 or 80.
Yeah.
But that means I probably volunteered from like 2015, 2016. I remember I did not volunteer the year of the Boston Marathon bombings. I was there.
2013.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I did apply to volunteer, but they would choose like the more senior students, obviously, because they were more helpful. And it was terrible, but we were there. We were a few miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. A lot of my friends live there, still live there, and
Hmm.
I was there from 2016 to 2020. But I spent a couple summers there. I
Yeah.
spent the summer of 2013 and 14 there.
There. Hmm.
But good town, you know.
Yeah. I love Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like your business name is Golden State Performance.
Mhm.
What happens if you move?
Close the business,
You
restart it
know?
somewhere else, honestly. I don't think we're gonna move out of
Yeah,
California, though.
you like California?
I like California.
Why California as opposed to the New England?
Honestly, COVID really pivoted my plans for life.
Oh,
I had always wanted to do travel physical therapy, but I had a really nice job downtown. I was working out of a little office right next to Invictus Boston, which was a big name and still is a big name. And that's how I got into CrossFit and like saw the world games leaders. They'd come and coach a class and like it was
yeah,
just the place to be. And then COVID hit and closed everything
yeah.
after 9 months of me being there. So I was like, okay, what do I have to lose? You might as well just go travel the world or the United States. And that's how we ended up here.
Did you go anywhere else and consider anywhere else?
Um, I took contracts in a lot of places. The
Yeah,
first place we went to back is just back home. I took a contract in New Jersey, and then the next one was in Alabama because I knew
nice.
I wasn't gonna live in the South, but I wanted to try it out.
Yeah, I've always thought I could live in the South.
Yeah, why?
I don't know, just slower pace.
Hmm.
Somewhat friendly people.
Yeah,
Um,
I do think the
just
people are
different.
friendly,
Yeah,
but sometimes fake friendly.
yeah,
Hopefully, I
yeah,
didn't just insult anyone from the South.
yeah. Sorry, people.
Sorry.
Um, so Alabama, anywhere else?
We did Alabama, and then we took a week and a half, and we drove across. I think is it was it like up to Memphis, across Texas, through all the national parks along the way, and then we hit San Ynez. That's
Okay,
where we ended up. So the plan was to stay in California for a year and then make our way back in the summer using the northern route. That just never happened.
back to Boston
We're
or
on the
New
East
Jersey?
Coast somewhere. But
Really?
you have a scattering of friends in New York and DC and Boston still.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you just stopped and
Yeah,
made it home.
we made it home.
Wow.
Yeah, California took our hearts.
What? Yeah. What was about it that appealed to you?
Honestly, growing up, I always said I would live by the ocean.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a different ocean.
Oh, the Pacific's way better.
Yeah, it's too cold to swim. Come on.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
you can jump in, but just the sunsets.
Yeah.
You don't get the sunsets on the East Coast.
You get the sunrises that
You
are really
do.
nice and pretty. But no, you're right. You're right. And then the fact that you have a mountain like to hike 20
Mm-hmm.
minutes away and then
Mm-hmm.
also 20 minutes away an ocean, like I no matter which way you go. And then 4 hours away, really great skiing, way better skiing than the East
Anywhere
Coast.
in the East Coast. Yeah.
So you get the best of all the worlds.
Yeah, you realize like how flat the rest of the country is.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hilly here.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's a great place to be.
I mean, we love it. I think if you're an outdoorsy person, this is the place to be. Also, farmers markets. They're actually affordable. An avocado in Boston, I remember it was like $3.75 per one for
Yeah.
one. Here, I think we can get like one for $1.
Yeah, I mean, we make the most produce in the world in
Exactly.
California.
And we go to the farmers market every Saturday, even if it's raining.
I should go. I go to the grocery store.
No,
I should go to the
it's not the
farmer's.
same.
Yeah, I'm
It's not
sure.
the same. The grocery store vegetables taste like water.
They taste like plastic.
Yeah, probably.
They
They're
taste
probably
like
covered with plastic.
They're covered in
Yeah,
something.
they're covered in whatever pesticide crap.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, farmer's market I should utilize.
especially if you cook, once you start cooking with the farmers market stuff, you can't
Yeah.
go back.
Interesting.
Yeah, like opens a whole new world. This is how vegetables are supposed to taste.
Interesting. Well, we do have a lot of trees and stuff that we
Mhm.
grow. We
Oh,
have an
that's
apple
good.
tree, an avocado tree, zucchini plants, tomato
Mhm.
plants, some other things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We grew up growing a lot of fruits and vegetables and like preserving and canning and marinating and salting stuff. So I think like when you move to New England,
Mm.
that stuff is harder to find in the winter. It
Yeah.
has to be imported from another state.
Yeah.
Um, and then you start to miss it. And you don't have to give that up in California.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't miss the
Mhm.
winters there, that's for sure.
See, I like the snow, so I don't mind.
Okay.
But
It's a long season for me.
I don't miss shoveling snow off my car. and
Mm,
like trying to find a parking spot.
mm.
Street parking during the winter is hard.
Especially like when you're in a rush and you're like, oh, I have to go clean off my car. Yeah.
Especially when you have to wake up at like 5 a.m. And if it's like heavily snowing throughout the night, you clean it off at 11 p.m. And you wake up at 4 a.m. to do it all over again
Yeah.
before you even get to work. Oh, and then you do it again after work.
Yeah. I took the T in most of the time.
Yeah, I won't lie. I didn't have a car most of the time. I lived in Boston except for the
Okay.
last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I also would bike to work sometimes. I love that.
Yeah,
Especially biking after work. Not
okay.
going home and just like changing and going for a ride. Oh,
Interesting.
loved it.
I was too afraid of the drivers.
It's true. You do have to pay it. It's like ultra focus.
Super defensive driving. And like
Yeah.
even my friends who were great bikers, both of them got hit.
Oh, yeah?
Doored or someone making a turn.
Yeah.
People are in a hurry. East Coasters are neurotic in the best way, but they're in a hurry.
Yeah.
So
I started listening to classical music when I drove to stay calm.
that's wonderful. You should see what I listen to. It's like EDM, 180 beats per minute.
I'll get you going. Let's talk a little bit more about your business. Obviously, you work in physical therapy,
Yep.
and tell us how that's been going, both from a physical therapy side and a small business side.
For sure. It's honestly, it's been a roller coaster this year.
Yeah.
So my business is Golden State Performance PT, named after our beautiful state. And it's been a side hustle for the longest time. And it started just because my friends in CrossFit wanted to be seen and I wanted to do it legally. And it grew to a point where I was like, oh, this can be a full-time thing. And this is what I've always wanted. And so as of this past June, I took it full-time.
Nice.
And I was still mobile, like sort of setting up in gym spaces. And like I had a few spots where I could set up a note, not real like one particular spot. And I've just been slowly working that up, doing events, trying to get known in the community, and I'm loving it so far. But it is a lot of work. If you have a small business, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
There's always something to work on.
There's always something to work on. And then you have to prioritize what does get worked on.
Exactly. And I feel like every day I finish the day and I still have not finished like my to-do list for the day.
Oh, yeah.
It never gets done.
It never.
In fact, it grows.
But that's like, to me, I could never do that kind of work for somebody else. Unless it was a really good environment and spot. But like when you take ownership, it just pushes you in a different way.
For sure. I agree. And I like, for me, physical therapy, when I'm actually with a patient, it doesn't feel like work. I love doing that part. It's the business part that really is a struggle for me because it's new and I'm not good at it. And I feel like there's so much you have to do. The physical therapy stuff I've been doing for 7 years, it feels like, second nature. And
Yeah.
I'm just excited to learn new things. It's research coming out. Even things have changed since like what we've learned in school. Now we believe different things for certain things.
Yeah.
But if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
What's your favorite part about working with a client? Or
Honestly, putting together the pieces. Sometimes people are like, oh, it's like my hamstring or my Achilles. Like a lot of runners come to see me and they're like, my Achilles has been bothering me on and off for like a year. It's not getting better. Keep on doing all these things. I looked it up on YouTube. Well, it wasn't their Achilles. It was their whole low back the whole time. And you put together the pieces and it like clicks for them and then like just helping them get to their goals. And that's one of the first things I ask. What are you training for? And you don't have to be training for anything, but like maybe you're upset that you can't run with your kids or you can't like kick a soccer ball or you can't play, I don't know, pick up football on the weekends. Okay. That's not just football or soccer. That's not just running with your kids. That's your mental health. That's your way of coping.
Yeah.
So just giving that back to people and like allowing them to move, I think is really rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had Colby on. That's like what he said. Basically, his mission was to expand people's ability to do the things they want to do.
That's a wonderful mission statement.
Yeah.
And for me, part of my mission statement too is preventing unnecessary surgery. We have a screwed up healthcare system. I think everyone kind of knows that. And it hurts my soul when someone comes to me and they're like, I hurt my back 3 months ago. I couldn't get into a PT. They're all scheduled out. Or like the PT made me do clamshells for 3 months. It's like your grandmother's PT. Like they're just not getting you off the table and back to doing what you need to be doing. And so I saw the doctor, and the doctor prescribed opioids and rest, which is like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like they got an injection, and then that didn't help because you're still not fixing the underlying issue. Oh, now I'm getting surgery.
Do you have to deal with like painkillers and addiction to that kind of thing?
I have gotten some people off of them.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say, if you are trying, like if you're taking painkillers in order to get through your injury and like still go to the gym every day, you're ignoring your body's signals. Something's wrong. You need to take a step back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying rest completely, but there's ways to modify to not have to pop painkillers.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never. Yeah, I don't think I would do that.
I've never been on them, but
yeah, right.
Again, I'm a PT because I had back pain in track. I never got the right treatment for it when I was a kid for 10 years, and I was growing and just pounding on my back with jumps. I would take Advil every day, every single day for practice. Thank God I was a kid. I probably didn't do any like long-term damage to my liver, but it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Over-the-counter opioids, your body's trying to tell you something. Pain's just a signal.
So you had a PT that helped you work through that?
I had a few like not so effective healthcare providers, and then I had a PT that made me start lifting. And he was like, "You're very tall, you're very lanky, you're pounding on your body all day long." And like back then, girls weren't really taught to lift very heavy, or if it was like a half-assed effort in the weight room with 40 other kids, and no one's really telling you what to do, or telling you to add weight and progressively overload. They're just like, yeah, I don't know, throw 25s on and just do it with the 25s. It's not enough. Yeah. So that PT really changed the way I move. He changed the way that I see my body. And he's not even a PT anymore. He's a cop.
Well, maybe he did his time.
I think so. I think he was just tired.
That's really funny.
I don't blame him.
I can't imagine a cop is easier than PT, but maybe.
Not this day and age.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, healthcare also, am I allowed to curse on here?
We bleep it, but yeah.
You get on all the time as a healthcare provider, not with a cash-based practice, but like in the hospital. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like by the patients or the staff or what?
Patients. Yeah, people are angry. People are in pain. They're upset and hurt.
Yeah, I mean.
And right now, like doctors are getting blamed, and like doctors aren't omniscient. They're not God. They get things wrong. They're just running through the flow chart in their brain and trying to work through this broken system too.
Yeah.
So I understand you want to blame someone, but
people are trying their best.
People are trying their best.
Most people are trying their best.
I promise you, doctors are not going into the field of doctor to like screw people over.
Yeah.
Into the field of doctor, into the field of healthcare.
The field of doctor.
Oh my gosh.
What are some basic like preventative things that people can do to stay, injury free?
The first one that gets missed is sleep. It grinds my gears when people are like, well, I need to work out 7 days a week and I have kids and I have no other time to do it. So I wake up at 4 a.m. and I do it, and I've had 3 hours of sleep, and then I pop caffeine pills and I have an espresso and I have a Celsius later in the day, and they're jittery and you can like see their eyeball twitching. I'm like, you just need to relax.
You need to chill out.
Maybe you gotta meditate. So that's the biggest one, because people come to me asking for supplements. If you're not sleeping and if you're not fueling your body with protein and nutrition, vegetables, fiber is a big one.
Yeah.
No supplement is going to help you. That and mobility. So I see, again, a lot of CrossFitters, a lot of weightlifters, and they're working out 6 or 7 days a week, and not a single mobility class or not a single like stretching class.
Is that separate, mobility and stretching?
I think so. Stretching, a lot of stretching classes, you're just like in a static hold, which isn't as effective as if you're, say, going into a Bulgarian split squat, not for the purpose of holding a heavier weight, but for the purpose of getting deeper into that stretch. And if you're stretching and strengthening into that stretch, it's actually a lot more effective, and you're going to hold on to that new mobility. Meanwhile, if you stretch your hamstrings, wake up the next day, they're just as tight.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never been a great stretcher. I tried this like less of a stretch, like less tension, but longer time. Someone told me about that, and I thought that worked for a little bit, but.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's like whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be too picky. People don't stretch or exercise already. So I'm like, if you do anything, thumbs up.
Yeah.
But if you are stretching and it's not working and you're not noticing an improvement over time, you probably have to do more mobility work, which is strengthening into a stretch. So like instead of stretching your hamstrings by like reaching to your toe, you're doing good mornings. Or you're doing
what is a good morning?
A good morning is like a stiff-legged deadlift, like you're keeping your back really neutral and your legs straight, and you're just bending over and trying to like touch your toes with a straight back.
Is it with a weight or without a weight?
It can be with a weight.
Okay.
But you just very gently load it and gradually load it. Like you don't go and grab a plate and a bar right off the bat. And you'll notice you can get deeper and deeper into that movement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the third round of the stretching, you're able to, have more motion.
Exactly. But in order for it not to tighten up, you do have to strengthen into that side.
What would you say is like, I don't know, you've the advice you find yourself giving the most to your athletes?
Take rest days.
Yeah.
That might just be the kind of population I see.
Huh.
But a lot of people don't want to rest. How many like influencers have you seen? This is an active rest day. So I went on a 2-hour hike and then I went on a 5-hour walk with my dog. And then I just spun on the bike for 45 minutes.
Maybe it's an educational thing because when I was in high school, I did soccer and then I did winter conditioning and then I did track. And for track, we ran all winter,
Yeah.
But we had rest days.
Right.
We ran 5 days a week and then
you take your rest days because that's when the muscle is actually put back together. That's why sleep is so important. If you're not getting your 7 to 9 hours, then your muscles aren't recovering properly. You're just breaking them down. Same thing with working out and lifting. If you lift 7 days a week.
People really lift 7 days a week?
There are people that will lift 5 days a week and then run 5 days a week and will like do a cycling class or a hiking day.
Yeah, that's just bad information.
It's a way to cope, probably.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. A lot of people are trying to run away from anxiety and depression, and they cannot do that without moving their body in some way. So the way I try to tell them, I'm like, okay, go for a walk. Like a walk is pretty light and it won't really harm your body. Like not that like hiking or cycling harms your body, but if you need your body to recover and you're in pain, you need to do something that's going to allow it to happen. And usually, like if you're cycling and hiking, that's not easy.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's easy compared to your usual workouts, it's not really. Yeah. It's not doing the job.
I mean, I think of like all the pro soccer players that play video games in their off time.
Yeah.
It's not because they want to play video games. It's because they have to rest and not do anything. And that's one of the things they do to pass the time.
Yeah.
You have to be patient.
You have to be patient. And like, I tell people, I'm like, if you have a hard time resting, then like schedule it in. Do like a yin yoga, which is just gentle, relaxing, stretching, meditating. Go to the sauna. Go do the cold plunge. Go do something that like is like a scheduled recovery day. And then for the rest of the day, just chill. I don't know. Spend time with your friends. Spend time with your kids.
Watch a movie.
Lay on the couch. Wake up late.
Yeah.
Make a fabulous dinner. I don't know. Something that takes you like 5 hours to cook.
Whoa, that's intense. I don't know if I've ever spent that much time cooking something.
I did a lot of cooking during COVID quarantine.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Did you become an expert chef?
No, but I did make laminated dough, which is the dough in like croissants. And you have to fold butter into dough over and like you fold butter, over, put it back in, roll it out, fold butter in, fold the dough over, put it back in the fridge. So it's a long process.
To make some croissants.
And then they get eaten in a day.
They're good.
They were very good.
Yeah.
I would rather just go and buy a croissant though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, cooking, it can be very relaxing.
Yeah, for sure.
But 5 hours is a little.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family that always took their time cooking.
Yeah.
I'm Russian, so like the bone broths were always simmering on the stove for like 3 or 4 hours. And then you have to make the soup and that takes another 2 hours. So there's always something that took a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, the stove is always on.
I mean, that's the best, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna grow up in a house like that.
For sure. I think it teaches you the right mindset about food.
Hmm.
Nowadays, I think we're all in a rush. I know I am. I buy like the little cheating meals from like Trader Joe's that you could just like heat up and like improve at home, but it's still something that starts frozen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Try to eat as much fresh food and not so much frozen food.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a lot of just like meat and veg
Mm-hmm.
and then bread. We love bread.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because we get a lot of good sourdough from friends and bakers. But
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't have to be hard. I do not spend 5 hours cooking these days. I don't
Yeah.
have 5 hours to cook.
Yeah. I want to talk about like your connection with CrossFit. And, when I talked to Colby, he was all about, creating family, and just curious if, you've felt that and
Yeah.
it's, been important to you.
I think that's what got me into CrossFit at first. Like I'd mentioned that I was working out of a little office, like a Chiro PT office that was right adjacent to Invictus Boston, which did CrossFit, bodybuilding, Olympic weightlifting, gymnastics classes. But it was just natural. I was spending all day there. I was getting there at 7 and I was getting home at 8. So like all day you're working. You have a long lunch break and you have to fill it. So I'd see them working out and eventually I got invited. They're like, just try one. And you're already lifting, and you're
Mm-hmm.
running. This just combines it.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love because there is that community aspect in CrossFit. And like the little PR bell. Have you seen those?
Yeah, yeah.
What other place does that? Where the whole gym cheers when you got a personal record?
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
I don't think it happens. And like everyone celebrates you. You get put up on a board, you get your little sticker. Makes you feel special.
Was the CrossFit gym culture in Boston very similar to the one here?
Very similar.
So it's a CrossFit thing.
I think it is a CrossFit thing. Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know if that's like the mission statement of CrossFit. I think it is.
Well, they're doing a good job of it.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Because so many other gyms, like people come, they work out and they leave. They don't really care about how their families are doing. You don't hang out with them on the weekends. You don't go and try new things together. So many of the CrossFit gyms around us, including Colby's gym, they do a running club. So you're not just CrossFitting, you're doing other things too.
I got to get on one of those.
Oh, yeah. Coming to Thursdays.
Thursdays?
Rolling Sarah's downtown. We run past your office.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
6 p.m. Well,
If Thursdays are free.
yeah, if you're not recording.
Yes, that's true.
Right. I skipped today.
Oh, well, thank you. What, is it the same route every time?
They have 2 or 3 routes that they kind of like interchangeably use. And then afterwards, you go to Fluid State or Ventura Coast Brewing, VCB, whatever, the one right downtown. Just a good time.
That's cool.
Run, grab a beer.
Hey, I've never done running that way. I've always been like solo running.
Yeah.
I don't run with a watch. I don't run with a phone.
But you were a track kid too.
Yeah.
And you don't miss that team aspect?
I always felt it more in soccer and in winter conditioning because we would run miles and just for hours and hours.
Did you have to do a 3-miler for time?
Yeah. 2 miles, but yeah.
2 miles? What was the...
12 minutes.
2 miles, 12 minutes.
Yeah. 6-minute miles.
You're right. It was... So my husband was one of our best soccer players in high school. I haven't known him that long. And they had the same thing. The Cooper, I think they called it, something like that. 2 miles, 12 minutes, which I think is ridiculously fast.
Yeah, it's 90 second quarters.
Right. You got to train for that.
Yeah. I mean, the first year I showed up, I was out of shape. I was a freshman, didn't play soccer my 8th grade year. And then sophomore year, I got 12, like 10.
Yeah.
I was really close. And then junior and senior year is when I really started running for track and we were very successful. And then the 2 miles was no problem.
See, I was a track kid and I would not be able to do that. My fastest mile was 7:12 probably, but I wasn't a distance runner.
Yeah.
You take a jumping kid. I mean, we just sprint 50 meters and do a jump.
No, I mean, we had a great, I don't know how it happened. Our school was on a roll. We won like 6 state titles in a row.
Oh, sick.
And I was...
Where'd you go to school?
Principia in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
So in the Midwest. But I was just in the middle of it,
Mm.
like it started maybe my sophomore year they won it, then junior and senior year I won it with them, and then
Mhm.
like a couple more years after they won it.
Mhm.
And it was just a culture of like running. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's awesome. That's what
Yeah.
you want. We
Yeah.
also had a team that constantly went to the Penn Relays, which was like the big
Yeah.
East Coast
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We would always have winners.
Yeah. I remember my coach was like, wanting us to go, but we didn't go.
Mhm. We weren't too far away, so we
Yeah.
always sent kids. But
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I think you grow up in track and you grow up with this huge team.
Uh-huh.
You might not be like running next to a what is it called, a thrower,
Uh-huh.
but you're still the same team. You still
Yeah.
interact. You
Still
still have
fun. It's a
meals
lot of fun.
together. You travel together.
Mhm.
I just think CrossFit has a lot of that camaraderie,
Mhm.
the meals together, the drinks together, the events together, and you're cheering for people. And
Yeah, if I lived closer, I would totally do it.
yeah,
But, Fillmore is just because you go in the mornings, right?
no, I go in the afternoon.
Oh, you can go in the
When I
afternoon.
can.
I thought it was a morning thing. Maybe that's why.
No, they do have morning. They have 5, 6.
I think that's when Ashley goes.
Yeah, she goes early. I I will coach that early. I will not work out that early.
Yeah.
I've tried it. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It feels like pulling teeth and I don't feel as strong. And then people say, "But you feel great for the rest of the day." No, I don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay to admit. I feel tired the rest of the day. I feel hungry the rest of the day.
I remember in sports camp, we did 3-a-days, and the first one was at 6.
Mhm.
And just like,
Mm.
here we go.
Here's my
Here's the
admission.
day.
We had Saturdays that were very early, I think like 7. So not very early, but for a high school kid, that's early. I
Mhm.
skipped every single one.
No way.
They were hill sprints, 7 a.m. hill sprints. You go to a skiing mountain and you sprint up a hill multiple times
Yeah, I don't think you
at
should.
7 a.m.
Yeah, sprinting in the morning is different than like a light jog.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I always lied. I was like, oh, my mom needs me to do this thing.
that's funny. I don't think like I was smart enough to lie as a kid. It
Really?
didn't even cross my mind that you could lie just to get out of things. Like, no, I guess I'll be there.
I didn't make a habit of it, but for that I did. I was
Yeah.
constantly injured. I didn't want to sprint up a hill.
Yeah.
See, even back then, I knew what I should not be doing.
Sprinting up hills.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say are your best workouts for overall fitness? And then maybe not for you, but for like athletes in general.
Like what they should be doing,
Yeah.
depending. Okay. PT answers it depends.
Okay.
It depends on what sport you're playing. So a swimmer is going to have different needs than a soccer player, and a soccer player is going to have different needs than a power lifter.
Yeah.
But no matter what you're doing, it should not be 7 days a week.
Mhm.
And so if you are doing a lot of like, let's say soccer, because you do soccer, there should be a good amount of plyometrics and speed and reactionary drills.
Yeah.
But also the like strength aspect. Like you should still be strength training. Everyone should be strength training, no matter what. Even if it's just twice a week, that baseline strength makes you harder to be injured. You'll recover better. You'll have better power output in your kicks or whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So that's like my non-negotiable. Teach a lot of runners that they have to be in the weight room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's I'm not sure how many coaches are in that philosophy yet, running coaches.
Really?
I don't know. Cause my high school coach we never lifted, my college coach we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did lift. We went into the weightlifting room maybe once a week,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't a progressive strength training program. It was just do some squats, superset it with this. Why? I don't know.
Squats are great though.
Squats are great.
If you're gonna do one thing,
Do squats,
pretty great.
squats and deadlifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both those two things.
Yeah.
I know deadlifts get a bad rep because a lot of people ego lift and hurt their backs. But like if you're doing deadlifts right, they actually will solve your back pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard some of that chatter about deadlifts being bad, but they can be done effectively.
That's a myth.
Yeah. What are some good myths that that you need to correct on your athletes sometimes?
Oh, let's see. That's the number one thing. Deadlifts are bad.
Yeah.
Um, Let me think. That's a hard one to come off right off the bat.
Or like, an athlete comes up to you and they're like, my old coach told me this. And you're just thinking to yourself like, oh, don't do that.
Oh, see, for me, not so much with the athletes, but a slightly older population, like ex-athletes.
Okay.
I see a lot of, oh, I went to get an x-ray and it's bone on bone and I need surgery. And then I'm like, wait, but are you having pain? No. Are your lifts affected? No. Is it waking you up out of sleep? No. Then who said, why do you need surgery? Oh, my orthopedic doctor did. He said it was the worst knee I've ever seen. And I was like, well, that must make you feel like crap. So I do try to tell people, I'm like, they literally looked at every player at the NBA a certain year. I don't remember off the top of my head which one it was. 60% of them, and those are what, like, how old are the NBA players? 18, 19, 20? Like,
they're at least 19. You have to go to college 1 year.
1 year. But they're pretty young.
Yeah.
60% of them already had degenerative joint disease in their back. Degenerative changes. They're fine. They're not in pain. They're working. They're working out. They're stretching. They have a team behind them to feed them and make them sleep and do all that stuff. So I think everyone should treat themselves like a little athlete and like recover appropriately and like not worry so much about like, I don't know, I call arthritis the wrinkles inside of our body, our face wrinkles. We're going to have bones that respond to the wear and tear.
At some point.
It's going to happen no matter what you do. And I think the people that move do a whole lot better than the people that sit on their couch and watch TV and don't ever exercise.
What are some of like the emotional hurdles that you have to, get over when you're dealing with a client or someone, ex-athlete?
For me or for the client side?
For the client side.
For the client side, and I don't know if you've talked about other people regarding this, maybe Ashley, but the anxiety around losing your identity as an athlete if you're injured. So let's say you're a goalie, you go for the ball, you tear your ACL, or someone runs into you, you tear an ACL. You can't play for a whole year.
Yeah.
And we also talked about how a lot of people use exercise to cope with anxiety and depression, which is very prevalent. So what do? Like, I think it's almost, I would say like 50-50, the physical difficulty of getting over an injury and the emotional side. But we talk about the emotional a whole lot more. You have to address it because if you don't, the athlete has lost his or her identity. They have no idea what to do with themselves. A lot of the PTs aren't loading them appropriately. They're making them do clamshells 3 to 6 months down the line. They're not getting them off the table. I don't know. There's a lot you can do with an athlete that's injured that still feels like lifting. Your ACL's torn, great. We can still upper body lift really heavy. We could still find a way to get you working out and sweating and get some of that feeling of an athleticism back.
Yeah, like mastery, like dominion.
Exactly.
Strength.
Yeah. Cross training. So we do talk about that quite a bit because people think of a PT like, oh, you're just going to massage me and like treat my injury and give me exercises. But we do the mental work as well.
Yeah. Also like, helping kids get over their fear.
Yeah, for sure. I've treated a lot of ACL ruptures back when I was also an athletic trainer, still am, but I don't treat that population as much anymore. But we would see them in the athletic training room and they're afraid to get back to their sport. Yeah. They're still wearing a brace when they don't have to because they believe the brace is going to save them from re-tearing.
So how do you help them with that?
Slow exposure.
Yeah.
Good teammates. I think they help. Drills. Maybe just saying over and over again, like, you're ready for this. Also appropriate testing. Talking about ACLs, a lot of PTs and a lot of programs to get these players back to getting on the field. They don't do the right force testing between legs. So like we have to look at quad strength between the affected side, non-affected side. A lot of people don't do that with an actual machine to see how strong that leg is. So that's why we see such a high rate of re-tears for ACL repairs. It's a crazy high amount. I think it's like 50% or something. I'm throwing that out there. I do not have that.
Because they're imbalanced. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of surgeons are like, oh, you're good after 8 months. Just get up back on the field, 8, 9 months. The data supports getting back after a year.
Oh, wow.
And it's a big improvement if you are patient and put in the work and then do the testing with actual machines that like you push against them and it spits out a number of how much force you're putting into them. And you have to be very similar to your non-affected leg. Otherwise, you're just putting yourself at risk of it happening again.
I see what you're saying. So testing the affected leg to make sure it's
like
close.
90% of the strength of your non-affected.
I see.
Yeah. And a lot of places don't do that. So I always tell people, be patient, right? Like when we're thinking about injuries, I've had my own injuries. I had a meniscus tear. And it probably took me about 2 years to get back. And I'm a PT. I knew what I was doing. I was doing my exercises. Was I in pain the whole time? No. But did it affect me? I was training for a half marathon. Did it affect me? Yeah, it took me 2 years to get back up to that mileage.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh, well, I tore my rotator cuff. Why isn't it better in a month? You gotta wait longer.
Yeah.
You won't be limited. You'll get back to doing a lot of what you love, but it might not look the same for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's hard for a lot of people to deal with.
The patience of it?
We're not a patient population anymore. Everything is fast. Everything's at our fingertips. Swipe, swipe.
Yeah, but the good things take time.
The good things take time.
Yeah, the really good things take time.
Yeah. It's a valuable lesson to learn.
What's next for you and your business? What are your goals for
So my
yourself?
next goal is to find space.
Yeah.
Crossing my fingers. I think I'm there, but those news will come out later when everything's finalized.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm still new to Ventura. I've only been here 3 years, so I'm still getting involved with the community and I want to give back. Recently I reached out to a local charity to try and give back to them and like be involved with that. So I think that a good business, no matter how small you are, it has to involve everyone. You know, it has to involve your community. You have to give back.
Yeah.
It's not just for the profit side of things, even though, you know, that's nice too. But that's not my main concern.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to leave us with? I appreciate you coming on and
Yeah, this was fun. Take your rest days.
Take your rest days.
And then for the people that don't exercise, start just 1 day a week, like or like 2. It doesn't take a whole lot. Just the bare minimum, please.
The bare minimum.
Take a walk, 30 minutes a day. Get a dog. That's my message. Rescue a dog and start taking walks. We live in California.
Get a dog. Well, I've been speaking with Maya. I can't say it anymore.
Should I do it for you?
Say it.
Inozemtseva.
Inozemtseva.
Perfect. You can just call me Dr. Maya.
Dr. Maya. Doctor in physical therapy.
Yeah, doctor in physical therapy.
That's
so
awesome.
Not a medical doctor, but still a doctorate.
Well, thank you, Dr. Maya, for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you so much. This is fun.